why,
Is
man. That's why, because we're not truly sovereign as a people. We ourselves individually are sovereign, and that's still underneath a corporate body politic.
yeah, that's true.
That's interesting. Yeah, man. Show me this. Show me.
Now we live. Yeah, yeah, I got you. I'm gonna bring some of this shit up in just a second. Should be live now. Oh, yeah, I sent Josh the link too. I'm wanting I ended up crash hitting and stuff, but he ended up staying up even longer, like getting into it. So I'm interested. We'll get some stuff cranking.
Yeah, interesting. Fine, man.
Yeah,
I was
it's
looking at
crazy,
your other
man.
post.
Um, the,
Your brain
the
stretching
thing that
out
was like
across the world now,
exactly, and then I was thinking too. It was like, they said that historically that the yen has been like what they call like a safe haven currency, right? So
huh?
that's
Right.
like one of the currencies that just historically stays more stable, I would assume. And so a lot of times when some of these bigger economic powers are going through, shifts in policy or
It's all the
like
resources,
there's
man.
all the private investors that own property and shit, they all convert. I wonder if a lot of that money that was, because a little inside scoop, they pulled their shit out, right? They did.
Right.
And then sure enough, we were looking into that, and there was a foundation that was created in Japan uh, right after the 2008 collapse. So in 2009, it's like it was insane, dude. It was insane
As
what we
far
were
as the
able to
other
cover up. And
people,
then it struck me as cool that, like, man, that we were able to just kind of notice that just off of kind of like it was just a hunch, man. Really, it was just a hunch because I seen that article where they said that the governor of Japan was announced that they were going to raise the interest rates,
right?
right? And I was thinking like, damn, they've always kind of stayed around zero, as close to 0% interest rate as they could. And then he's announcing that they're raising it, and then I thought, man, that's peculiar, because we know when the Fed raises the interest rates here, what happens? Expansion, right? More interest
Right.
rate, the higher interest rate, more money.
Exactly.
So all these corporations produce more bonds. There's more shit in circulation. And so I was thinking,
Precisely.
wow, if he's raising it, if it's always been at zero and he's talking about raising it, and then it's also you kind of take into the way that the US dollar is steadily kind of seeming more and more on the decline. And it was just like to me, I was like, what if that's the play? What
The
if
reason that stood out to
Right.
me is because of BRICS. The fact that BRICS exists
yeah,
and that is such a big focal point, it makes perfect sense. You know what I'm saying?
right.
I'll go ahead and put my hand out here, so you looking here. All I gotta do is move money behind the scenes. Same old play, a rope a dope.
Mm,
Absolutely, bro. It's all again, bro. I said time and time again, man. This shit is about leverage through people. It's leverage and control through people and resources. If you
it
can
is, man.
overstand that shit and get a keen fucking eye on that, you will understand everything that's happening in the world. Chris, what you just said with like, oh, you think that they're putting in for that growth. No, nigga, if they did raise the interest rates, it is for the growth of the dollar. So we're gonna take your investment, we're gonna grow the fucking dollar. Now look at Japan and China as a goddamn conglomerate motherfucking source of all technology and all production. Now look at
That's
military
exactly what
force.
we were thinking too. And then
You
wasn't
see
it
what I'm saying?
he we were going through the list of investors that were buying into these bonds, and I swear they just every time it would sound more and more Chinese, man, more and more Chinese, and I'm just like, wait a minute.
You know, and
That's
There's
like
other weird
something.
plays with that too. So like if I accept your investment, because this is the way that I started to look at tribe and government anyway, you know what I mean, was that we'll accept your investment in the like, all right, so the discussion that we had the other day in our own private, like fuck it, I'll just go ahead and read some here. You know, when I was like, all right, bro, well, you can still establish PMA type distributions of benefits and privileges. These are the benefits and privileges that are being distributed around the world. So let's say, you know, I had a dude like Andrew Tate that wanted to come into my motherfucking country. Okay, dude, bond your fucking assets with me and let me grow my goddamn dollars so at least I have that collateral with you. Now I don't mind extending you all my fucking benefits and privileges, bro. You're a part of my shit. You know what I mean? Now that's
Wow.
not to state that you can't have some other kind of cohesive citizenship with whatever fucking country. By all means, go ahead, dude. Just don't fuck me over. At least I have hands on your shit. That's my leverage in the
And
situation.
that
That's my
is also,
control.
it makes sense. That's how Romania was able to seize their bank accounts.
Yes, man. Because, dude, like you, all right, so you're over there doing all this, you're doing that, you're doing this, you're doing that. That's fine. But I still have a fucking collateral point throughout your goddamn distribution, bro, with your bond, nigga. That's mine. You have to place a bond back with a government. Okay. All corporate and government bonds. Doesn't matter what the fuck you do, because most governments are standing as a Federal Reserve extender. It's just a fucking bank. It's not a real government. It's a piece of paper and a trust indenture that's laying out the shit that needs to happen. It just so happens that
That's it.
everybody is formulated back into that one point of distribution dealing with currency. So what becomes your God? What becomes your governor? That fucking the distributor of the
Yep.
currency.
That's it.
Precisely.
And that's also the reason why everybody just assumed that anybody that's not privy to what's really going on assumes that the Fed is the government, that the centralized
Right.
bank is the treasury. And it's just like you could not be
Right.
more wrong.
Precisely, dude. Precisely, man.
It's
Precisely. Yeah, you
crazy.
guys got your head in the right
You want
spot
to know
right
where
there.
you want to know where
That's
your Fed come from, man? 6 dudes on a fucking island off the coast of Georgia, bro. 6 dudes changed the world.
heavily. Creature of
So for
Jekyll
those of
Island.
y'all
Go look
thinking
that
an
up.
individual don't matter, 6 men literally fucking control the whole world now, or at least implemented the system that eventually, turned into what it is now.
Big
It's
facts.
crazy. Read the
Big
book,
facts.
The Creature from Jekyll Island. It literally tells the
That's what it is.
whole little thing, man. And then there's also some other stuff too. You know how Titanic really didn't sink by an iceberg. And coincidentally, you know what I mean. But it jumped off right before it took off. You know what I'm saying? And then there was explosions and shit heard. And then it just so happened that the only people that had enough power, money, and influence to actually do something about it went down with the Titanic.
Right. The other ones got off right before it set sail.
Yeah.
They
The
got on
ones
the
that
boat,
started the
then
Fed.
walked off right before it set sail. Okay. All right.
Oh,
So we have your ticket. So it looks
I
like you
forgot my
died.
phone.
So here talking about some lost and dead at sea. Yeah, sure. Fucking A.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
You said, yeah, sure.
Hey, and then what about the buddy that got on what he got in the damn submarine, like going to the Titanic or some shit and disappeared? That
Yeah.
happened like last year or something, wasn't it? It was like
Oh,
some
CJ.
rich dude.
Oh yeah, dude.
Yeah, he gets on
The
some fucking
little
thing going to see the
makeshift
Titanic. Just
fucking man, that thing
I bet he
looks
was
so
going to
bogus,
fucking
dude.
dig up some
Like I don't know
evidence, and
what
he's like,
I don't man. Somebody look into the finances on this goddamn discovery, bro. Like who is
that's what
fucking
I'm
putting money
saying,
towards
man.
this thing? Who is interested in it, man?
Yeah, who funded
It's
that shit?
CJ.
You know what happened. They're like, hey, bro, we're gonna buy you a submarine. We're gonna fucking drop you off right where it's at. We're gonna let you go down there and dig for information.
You know what I mean? Like, all right, so it was supposedly right. The gist of the story is that it was all rich people that were on the fucking submarine, so they could have funded it themselves. But like, that's what I'm saying. What company made the things that was making the things that they had to use? Like, who
Yeah,
and where became inserted into this whole entire ploy, bro? Because how does the whole fucking submarine just
that's it.
disappear?
Yeah, just
I don't give a
vanished.
fuck how big
So
it
you mean to tell
is.
me you can see the Titanic, and it's been down there for a million years. You know what I'm saying? But this brand new
Right,
submarine just disappeared. Where's the GPS locator on the fucking submarine?
right, dude. Fucking piloting this thing
You
with an
can't tell me that.
Xbox
So you put a
controller and
GPS
shit.
on
Like, what's going on
everything
here,
except the submarine. Yeah, just dive as deep as you can possibly go to where you
bro?
can't see with no GPS locator in case you get lost. And rich dude's
Man.
like, fuck yeah, sounds great.
You know, the
I don't know.
mermaid situation is sounding ever more
Yeah.
prevalent dealing with a lot of that shit, dude.
Yeah. It's you know what, me, I talked about that the other day. I was like, once you kind of know, there's no such thing as going back to blissfully ignorant. Like you can't do it. You can't
And
do it. It's
the way
impossible.
I
It's
found out
like,
about the mermaids was the actual language that they used, right? When they said, okay, look at the sailors, right? What they were calling them. They weren't calling them mermaids, they were calling them sirens. You know what I'm saying?
Yo,
and think about that.
How
Also,
I
what we call
experienced
what
them.
a police siren.
Crazy, right?
I know, right?
Yeah, but the first
And
time
they're
that I
literally
witnessed that those
pirates
things
too.
was real was the guy who had the TikTok taken down, and he was witnessing like he was a fisher or something on a boat, and he had these things
light
out
skin dude
there
with a
following
fro.
him, and then the government like came on his boat and everything for this, and then it was like you ain't hear nothing from him, and that's how I knew that them things was real.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
Look at
recently,
Russ.
right?
Got his little podcast
Yeah, like
station up.
last
What?
year.
Yeah, dude look like Filipino or something. I don't know his nationality, so I mean, you know what I'm saying? Nobody
Yeah,
kill me or
There was
strike
the
me
other
down for
guy.
saying that, but yeah.
You know, the other guy that had supposedly had the video of the giant on the mountain. Did you see that dude on TikTok?
Yeah, I
Dude,
saw.
He
He
posted.
actually got Flip Zelda. I think. I think he got debunked by. It was called the
Oh, so it's
Minuteman
fake.
page. Yeah, that one was fake. The giant one that he had
Okay.
posted, unfortunately, and then there was another one he debunked also about the giant stairs that they were saying. You know what I'm saying? That it was a stairway for giants. He debunked that too, from archaeological evidence, and from stories from those people that were in that area, right? So culturally, when you give me cultural references for me to then cross-reference with some of the new information or some of the conspiracy, then I can look into the theory and be like, all right, well, even if it is a conspiracy theory, right? What is it that it fuels? Because it's propagated for a reason. The only thing that really gets propagated throughout history is truth, right? So if you're taking the truth and you're trying to make it fit outside of cultural bounds, there's a reason. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, I can feel you.
Interesting.
And what
Interesting
giant
you
steps
say
did he
that.
debunk? Not the ones that was put, like pictures taken with these people like standing near these things and on them and shit like that, right?
I didn't hear you one more time.
Is you talking about the steps, the steps that there's pictures of people standing in these
Yeah.
steps and they're big as hell?
Yes. Yes, I am.
You know, I've thought about that
Hmm,
too, and it
interesting.
just make any sense, right? So back in the ancient structures, and stuff, they all had these gigantic, huge doors, right?
Yeah.
Like big enough to drive like whole machinery into and everything, right? So you're telling me that they just decided to construct these things 10 times bigger than they would actually need them and go, no, bro, come on.
Absolutely
Doesn't make any
not.
sense.
Absolutely not. The
You've
fuck
been
is a
doing
doorknob or a
it.
book as big as a house for? You know what I mean? Like, come on,
Yeah,
bro.
exactly. Like why? Like, who can live here?
There is no regular human, no matter how many come together, that are about to construct that. For what use?
Yeah. Even the slaves are like, man, fuck this, bro. They're like,
Right.
come on, man.
Man,
Yeah, there's a lot we don't
guys
know,
that are
man.
set,
And it's
piss
all a
on their head,
distraction, bro. It's a
and like
Roman
calling it
circus.
rain. You know what I'm saying?
Right. I think they release just enough of these like mythological creatures and shit like that to kind of it's like, well, there's some evidence to support it and this and that, you know, just to kind of have you guessing and thinking that way. When you see something about that, it's like you're automatically, oh, what is that? Oh, what is that, a fucking unicorn? Right. And people don't even really know the real like I guess the legend behind the unicorns either. They think it was just some pretty beautiful little, you know, horse looking thing with this rainbow cut. No, that motherfucker would kill you, bro. If you actually studied the ancient folklore about actual unicorns, they were not so nice at all.
Yeah, I hear
And there's
about
no
the
way
whole
that every
like
culture in the world got dragons and they
simulation
didn't
thing.
exist.
The who?
It's like a whole like you know how they say like we supposed to be in like a simulation or whatever, right? But
Mm-hmm.
they calling it like a stimulation type thing now. So it's like
Mm.
if you
Yeah,
like
because it
if
is.
you
It's just
start
throw a
like
bunch of shit
feeling
at you to
like or something or
overstimulate you.
thinking about something, like the simulation will start to show you some shit to make you start feeling some shit. You know what I mean? Feeling a certain type of way. You feel what I'm saying? But it's like only when you start trying to like debunk it or something like that, like or trying to think the opposite way or some shit like that. Then it would start
Open.
trying to show you the shit. You feel what I'm saying? And sometimes it'd be like
that.
a red car, blue car type shit, and it start fucking up the fucking up the shit out here. You feel what I'm saying? Type shit. And it's like this. It's called the girl TikTok. It's like Maddie's being silenced or whatever. She's like some homeless girl or whatever, but as she's saying this or whatever, if you pay attention to the cars, because she was like the road that she was walking on, nobody walks down the road.
Out of nowhere in the middle of a closed road.
Right. If you look closely though, it's the silver SUV that goes back past her and then goes behind her. If you follow it back there, it like turns into nothingness. Like it goes into the barricades, like the orange barricades. So I was like, yo, what the fuck am I looking at, bro?
And so, like some of those street cam videos and shit of like the red lights.
Expose your mind to some shit to show you like, yo, this world is weird, bro.
And you know what's interesting about this too, right? If you look at the kids, because I'm kind of like the middle child right now. You know what I'm saying? I'm in my 20s, so I got the little kid right there. I got the people that's a little bit older, right? When we start talking about these conspiracy theories on this level, when it comes to simulations, I just, I thought it was profound. I was having a conversation with a 13-year-old. You know what I'm saying? We was on a fucking bus. You know what I'm saying? I was like, yo, did you see that? That lady, she was just like 4 blocks down, and we see somebody in the exact same lady, you know what I'm saying? And like, you know what I'm saying? Half of a second. Ain't no way, right? He's like, oh, it's just a glitch. It's just a glitch. Right? It's just a glitch. Do you know what that means, kid?
You know what? It was probably normal to him though. Because think about it. When we're kids, right? Your creativity is like through the roof. You know what I'm saying? Your imagination is just full of all kind of like it's endless possibilities, bro. And then it's like as you get older, you start to like kind of process of elimination type shit, right? Or your environment and the people around you and in the fucking data that it starts to like fucking, well, that's not real. Well, no, that's not real either. Well, this is not real. And then, you know what I'm saying? So you got all this shit that like when you're a kid, you're like, well, it could be anything. Anything's possible, which is really, truly fucking what it is, right? Anything is fucking possible. But as you get older and you get fucking conditioned and like really like, especially through the public education system with the indoctrination of just this fucking bullshit fucking philosophy of shit that never fucking happened. You know what I mean? And then you're left with like just this like NPC basically, right? Because you done took all those fucking possibilities that you would have of fucking things you could do in this game out. You know what I'm saying? It's gone. So of course you're fucking walking around like not knowing what the fuck's going on and completely like not able to fucking think you have options.
They not worried about what's going on. The NPCs, they good.
Right,
they
but what if that's what it is? What if, I mean, because it's kind of crazy. I really do look at them like that.
I don't think it necessarily
but it's still they're humans. They possess it.
Because they don't even
the ability to wake up.
They the ones that don't have no opinion on shit. They don't care about how it's going. They just go with how they doing it. They don't even give a fuck or nothing.
I don't think it really matters that much, man. You know, I was talking with my stepbrother. Shout out to Kevin Turney, man. But I was talking to him last night. This morning. It was probably like around 1 or 2. But he said something about like this whole entire simulation thing. One thing that he brought to my attention was like that movie fucking Spy Kids, bro. I think it's Spy Kids 2. These motherfuckers were literally on an island, but this dude made like these miniature animals that were all crossbred and shit like that. And he dropped them onto a digital but real fucking grid. Like there was a miniature model of the whole entire island chilling in this nigga's fucking living room. And the little miniature animals actually popped up in real life while the kids were out there on the actual big ass island. Bro, it really started to make me think like the crossover between metaphysics and physical. You know what I mean? How much does something truly matter? And I just told somebody else this the other day because they were like, "Well, what really mattered?" Well, I think it was Josh. He was like, "Well, what really matters, nigga? The only thing that really matters is what you make matter, bro."
Right, and that's really the only thing that matters to anybody, right? Is the shit that they want to fucking think about and the shit that they hold important. And a motherfucker will believe a complete falsity just because it supports their narrative, right? And they'll believe it. I've literally seen people that will convince themselves that this is what's real, and it's like right in front of their face that you get frustrated because you're like, that not like, what are we doing here? But it's like the mind is so powerful.
It is.
The mind is, and so what is the simulation? That's what I kind of personally think.
What I'm trying to figure this shit out too, because all of a sudden it just became this big ass push. Like, why are you pushing to me that it's a simulation? What's the purpose behind it?
You know what I think? I
I
think they're
don't
trying to
know.
convince everybody
Because
that it
maybe
is a
because of the fact
simulation
that
imposed. That's what they want. They want us to think that it is an outside force imposing the simulation on us, so we don't fucking realize that we're creating our own fucking simulations.
I mean,
Oh shit,
maybe
this is
that's a
worse than
one.
Inception.
Maybe that's one. You know what I mean? But I do think
I
that
personally
if
think
it is
that's
a
what it is,
simulation,
because I'm thinking at
it's
it from
us.
my point of view. Like,
It's
if
us
I were to want
creating a
to do this to
simulation for some
somebody,
reason. We just forgot why we created this shit. You feel what I'm saying? I look at it like the Danger
right?
Room, X-Men.
It's all in our face too, right? It's like we look at these movies and we think
You
we're
pick the
escaping
situation, they
reality
the
with
always
these
pick the
fucking
movies.
situation that they put themselves in. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah,
In the Danger Room.
it will
Like they
too.
didn't know the
Damn, I didn't even think
situation
about it
that
like that.
they was going in. They always picked the situation that they was going in.
Holy shit, my nigga. Fuck. Wait a minute. Spy Kids, my nigga. You remember the main villain? That nigga was like, he was able to dream with his eyes open. So he had the book over his face, and then they was like, okay, we got to get this book, and they went and grabbed the book, and he was asleep, and his eyes was open. I'm like,
Yes, bro. He had like this big
They
old
was
That's
showing
like
us some
about God
crazy
in
stuff in
there. It
that
was
movie. Yo, I
crazy,
ain't even
bro.
see it. That's crazy. Showing y'all some crazy
damn.
stuff in
The
that
Spy
movie.
I
Kids
watched
2,
that with
man.
my
The second
kids so
one,
many
bro.
times.
Showing y'all some crazy stuff in that movie.
Spy
Just by
Kids 2.
those things that y'all telling me, like they showing y'all some crazy stuff in that thing.
And then look, I was thinking too, like we watch those movies, those fantasy movies and shit, and we feel like we're escaping reality. And that's why it feels so exciting. What if we're really just fucking, it reminds us of our reality, and that's why we like them so much.
Man,
Yo,
I
did you
had
see
this.
the? Did you see how that creature in the never ending story or something looks now and how he
Yeah,
used to look?
some
I
of
haven't
the big
seen it.
ass like dog looking thing.
Yeah, he looks crazy now.
I haven't seen the new one. They got a new
He
one.
look.
He's
He was
like,
like, "Yo, you would want to ride that motherfucker back in the day. Back in the day, you would probably want to take a ride on
yeah,
that
he's like,
nigga
oh,
back in
he's
the
so
day. He
cute.
look like a little
Real
fluffy
shit.
animal. But today, you see that nigga, what? You would never want to take a ride. You would haul ass
That
from that
motherfucker went to
nigga.
prison, came back tatted
Man,
and swole as hell.
I had this thought about that, like, right, like maybe it reminds you of a different dimension or another time or another realm. Like, bruh,
They all exist at the
I
same time.
strongly believe they may peer into other realities and realms via film, and they do show you real. You ever watch a movie and it doesn't actually look like makeup? Like, how good at fucking
Yes.
makeup are you, bro? You know what I mean?
Or
Like, you
digital
may
I
effects,
just
watch it
right?
have an
sometimes and it'll
actual thing
seem
from
like
some
it's
other
like,
fucking realm. Yeah,
it's
I
so
look at
weird.
the Rick
effective.
and
And then
Morty
sometimes
shit.
I'll look at it and it'll just be a screen. It'll look like a TV. But I know exactly what you're talking about, because sometimes you'll be looking at it and you'll
The Rick and
almost be
Morty
like,
shit.
fucking, wait a minute. Like,
Yeah.
damn, can I,
Man,
you know what
especially
I'm
with
saying?
4K now.
I mean,
4K
Yeah,
with
see,
upgrade.
that's what
No,
4K.
really got me.
4K should be able to show you the discrepancy. That's the fucking thing, dude. If
That's
you
it.
look like I do, nigga, again, how good at makeup are you, my G? God damn.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, 4K
And
lets you
these
know the
AI, and think
difference.
about it,
You feel what I'm
the
saying?
4K and the computer graphics and the process. Look, I think it's every night. Think about this. This is scary, guys. Where we're at now, in 9 months, will be double. Every 9 months, they fucking double the fucking power of these little fucking chips, dude. That's statistically 9 months, bro.
Right, right.
9 months. What we're capable of now will be twice as capable in 9 months. That's scary. And think about the computer animation
Yeah,
with
fucking
the AI now. They can do a deep fake video, and you will swear that you are watching Donald Trump at the White House
Tupac,
getting his
Tupac
head
at
blown off or some
Coachella,
crazy shit.
G.
And it's nothing to
Tupac
it.
Word,
at Coachella, G.
I watched Will
Yeah,
Smith do a
Tupac at
baby
bro.
oil
Coachella
over
performing
their head.
live. Get the hell out of
Yeah.
here, man.
You hear
Is he
about the
dead or not? Come on,
boat?
guys.
You hear about the boat crashing into the Brooklyn Bridge?
Yeah, with like
Oh, yeah,
14
yeah,
No.
people
yeah,
died or
yeah,
something like
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah. I
Bro,
heard about that. So
I
that's the
thought
You
that
second
talking
was
about
time
back
he
in the
is
I
on
day?
the
thought
curb
that was
now.
AI
They
because
tried
of
to
the
take
fact
out the
that
Brooklyn Bridge.
I don't know.
That's crazy.
I couldn't understand why it was people up there where the cells were sitting that was crashing. I was like, what type of boat is that where
Yeah,
people
what are you
sit
doing?
up there? Like they was way up top that was hitting the bridge and falling over, bro. I was like, that's why I asked. I was like, yo, is this AI, bro?
Yeah, like y'all
Because
just
it
gonna
didn't
stand
make
there
Probably,
sense
knowing
for
you've been
people
hit
to
the
be up
bridge.
probably,
there.
man. Probably, because wouldn't that be like the second time in the last 5 years that has occurred? Because didn't the Brooklyn Bridge just get struck down by some actual fucking freight liner not too long ago?
Yeah, well,
didn't it?
I don't know. The Brooklyn Bridge
It was
did
some
it?
oil
I
tanker,
think it
bro.
was
I'm pretty sure a
Boston.
whole entire oil tanker hit that
Yeah,
fucking
I
bridge
thought
and it
that
was
was
all over
Baltimore
national news.
that took a strike, but I don't know.
Yeah,
I gotta
See,
look.
that's what's
it was to do with the.
you
I
really
know they had a
don't know
black
now.
mayor.
Fucking crazy, dude.
But you gotta
As these things
Fucking
get
insane.
deeper and deeper, and as the psyop kind of as the veil gets lifted, right? My thing is this: I've heard it a lot of times, and I'll be like, "Oh, we a little hard on people," but the possibility is that because you can't really tell what's real, what's fake, you feel like you're making your own destiny, your own reality, and you know what I'm saying? People are getting dumber, literally.
Yeah.
Like, why would you go up on the top mast before you get to the bridge? People are literally getting dumber. It's you're gonna see so many people.
So it's
doing
not
dumb
AI
shit.
generated. It's just stupid people. It's got to be.
You're gonna be
There's
seeing so
strongly
many.
that possibility.
Yeah,
Many.
it really is a strong
it was
possibility
true.
that is the case. Because what if you lived your whole life through a phone, right? You know what I'm saying? You're looking through the phone like, oh, look at this. This is a boat that's about to hit this bridge. You know what I'm saying? Like, you ain't even taking the phone out your fucking frame of reference to realize, motherfucker, you on the boat.
Man, that's a good point, Josh. That's a
Said
fucking
two people
extreme
died.
point.
It's crazy.
It was a Mexican Navy ship crashed into the Brooklyn Bridge on May 17th, 2025. The
A
ship,
Mexican
I can't
Navy ship.
understand what it was.
Wait a
Was
minute.
train on a training
Why
mission
is
when
a
it struck the
Mexican
bridge.
Navy ship in the Brook?
For a training
What's up
mission.
with that?
What are y'all
It doesn't
training?
make fucking sense, dude.
And this is another key factor. Think about this now. Every single time it's some shit pop off, they always running some war games or a simulation or a training fucking program.
Oh, bro, this is garbage. This is a garbage story. Where in the world did your little think tank come up with this one? You know what?
I'm saying that what y'all didn't think about that
I
before you said,
got
yeah,
it.
run that one. Like they really are. They just, you know what? They're so dumb now. We're just gonna throw darts at a board and whatever it hits, that's what we're gonna say happened. Fuck it.
Holy
You know what
shit,
I'm
they
saying?
believed it. Holy shit.
There's no
We had a
creativity
hurricane in
this.
Utah today,
You know what
guys.
they do, Morty? They take their balls, they dip them in cocaine, and they rub them all over each other. This guy just got fresh out of a bag, tilted his nose back. All right, look, I got it. Mexican boat, Brooklyn Bridge. Hear me out.
Perfect. We'll say a bunch of people were standing up top when it happened. It'll be perfect.
Oh my goodness, bro. That's ridiculous.
And it worked.
Hey,
It fucking
no
worked is the scary part.
No disrespect, because I did mention some stuff. No disrespect to the people that actually lost their lives in this training exercise.
Because that's crazy, man.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
That makes it even more of a fucked up experience, right? Is because if people really were involved in this tragedy and really lost their lives and their family really had to mourn a loved one, and then you literally like you set that up, or even if you just like propagated it, even if you took it and used it as like, oh, now we got something to post in the media to get some attention, like you're a piece of shit.
Right.
Man, you know what's interesting though? As we starting to think about that, like the Mexican galleons or the, you feel me, having their presence, their naval presence on the water. I was also watching some videos of people in New York. They was videoing like over the balcony, and I thought it was a movie shoot. It was a helicopter taking off from the middle of the street. And they're like, oh, don't worry, it's just a military exercise. Now, why are you practicing with Apache helicopter?
No, yeah, bro. What kind of
In the
In the
middle
middle
of
of the street? The last time we seen that shit was in
what-
1945 with the Germans using
is this? I
Autobahn.
Am Legend? Where's Will Smith?
Yeah, like I've never seen a helicopter parked downtown, like just chilling. Like what? Like what situation are you gonna have to run to your helicopter, find the parking spot? And, you know what I'm saying? Like no.
But think about the last time they did that tactic,
on top
right?
of buildings for that.
In 1944, when we was dropping bombs on Germany, right? What did they do? They took their planes off the airfields, covered them with bushes and, you know what I'm saying, different insignias, and let them sit on the side of the Autobahn. You know what I'm saying? So when we beat them and the Americans came out to survey them, they're like, oh, okay, so that's how they're still dropping. Okay, cool. We can implement that. I think it's a preparation for, let's say our airports go down. We already having issues with air traffic controllers and planes smacking into each other too, ain't we? You know what I'm saying? It seems like it's going
to travel. Cargo ships just losing their navigation systems and running into the fucking shore.
Like you can't, bro. I mean, that's the thing. Like you have to navigate very slowly through canal systems.
And then they've got secondary systems in place on those big ass ships for that reason. That's so crazy. It's like people don't
They're
even
not
think
even looking at
about shit no more.
instruments pretty much throughout the whole entire
It's
engagement. They're
running
just like
itself,
naturally
bro.
navigating.
Like a captain don't even have to fucking turn the
Yeah.
wheel no more. You got a button that does it for
Yeah,
you.
no, bro. Through those canals, those are very tight turns and different things like that. Like that just doesn't make sense,
I know,
man. And
man.
then like Josh, you just pointed out like a military, or you got a military practice going on.
Yeah, in the middle of downtown. Like, okay.
Oh, don't
All
worry
right,
about it.
great, bro.
And you know what? When
Great.
they say they're training or they're running training, believe it. That's exactly they are training for what fucking they're about to
Absolutely.
fucking put you
Absolutely. I
through.
mean, at least they told you the bare minimum truth. Like this is a military
Right. Yeah.
practice.
When you see
But
the
why are you
helicopters, guys.
downtown with this while that just happened? Like, what portion of this was the practice? The whole entire thing? Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. And then it's a desensitization thing too, right? It's like first time you go through something that you've never went through, it's like scary, a little intense. It's you got nerves. It's like, oh shit, what's going on? The second time it happens, you're like, oh shit, I know it. I know what's okay. By the third time, bro, that as soon as that first little, you're like snapping into action. I done been through this. I know exactly what to. Or it's like, oh, that ain't nothing. I'll just dismiss that shit. I done been through this a bunch.
No,
You know what I'm saying?
that's strong.
So it's
That's strong right there.
desensitizing you to this shit. So are the movies. So are you know what I'm saying? So you're watching all these movies about all
Everything.
this, like, and then it's so strange that recently it's been a lot of dystopian, like, futuristic Hunger Games shit.
Man, motherfucking Black
All
Mirror.
that, like, yes, come on now.
They need to
Either
stop
way, man,
that shit.
you think that they just coming up with some shit? This is just somebody brainstorming some shit on a Saturday night, and they just no, man, and everybody at the
No,
same
dude.
time, all the producers, all the actors, everybody just
I used
decided,
to
you know
I
what?
used to want to believe they were just taking L, you know what I mean? Just taking acid and just fucking, you know what I'm saying, coming up with these ideas.
Yeah,
But then you start to link those into real world practicality and you see like, oh shit, they showed me this like 8 years ago. So like by this time it's the subconscious has already created and mapped out, right? The synchronization within that wavelength, that vibration, that frequency. So by the time you do experience it in real time, it's like, oh shit, well, whatever. And then yeah, at these
oh,
points
it
in time
makes
in
sense,
consciousness, we sit back and we go, oh my fucking God.
right?
It's already
It
too
makes
Exactly.
me
late.
believe in the multiverse. It makes me believe in the fact that multiple dimensions can exist at the same time, and that it also is a reason why we can observe a collapsing of a wave function. It's another reason why we can observe and why we found the Higgs boson. It's funny how when we found the Higgs boson and it didn't blow up, right? We've been looking for it for years. That technology started to explode as well. Nvidia became a huge chip company. We started hearing about Taiwan Semiconductor. And it's because as you start getting closer and closer to electrical signals that can interact with subatomic particles, it changes the observer effect.
Did you hear about the one they used one of the hadron colliders just recently to turn lead into gold? Did
I
you know
did
that?
not hear.
Yeah. By minute degrees, like very, very small percentages. They still haven't necessarily mastered out the shit that Marlin was talking about, you know what I mean, and all those other alchemic books and
Right.
masters. But
They
yeah,
came real close,
they
right?
fucking with it, you know what I mean. But it's
While
be
we're on the
like
subject
my,
of simulate, oh, go ahead, go ahead, go
distractive
ahead.
things, man, because like what's the practicality of it, right? What do we can now take any metal and transition it into gold? No, nigga, like if anything, they're just gonna go back into the shit that they were doing before, making fool's gold or taking the gold and other composites and shit off the real shit that's already been utilized and dwindled down throughout whatever electronics or whatever else. Like they don't
Yeah.
have large deposits of gold sitting everywhere in the fucking world. It was already mined and found. So what do you use it for? You use it for conductors. You know what I mean? So like again, this whole entire production of like this portion of life right now is going to be fixated around technology, as it's already has been. It's just
Yeah.
like now it's abundantly clear that this shit is going to be mass produced. So if the
Yeah.
mass production of technology is going to supersede just a fucking cell phone, and now we're talking about actual bodies, robots, and whole entire motherfucking smart buildings,
Crazy.
then they're going to start to make weird shit happen with quote unquote gold bricks and investments.
Right.
That's my
Mhm.
that's my view. You know what I mean? Like just trying to look at it in a plausible sense. Like why are they showing this shit to the general public? Like what was the sense of it? Oh, we figured out how to turn this one substance into gold. Like, are you running out or something? Do you not know what to do anymore with gold? Or
Right.
like what, bro? You know what I
Right.
mean? So when you look at currency senses and you look at the past, like every other fucking nation has always done that to be able to wipe clean or at least implement the new bullshit. and the new bullshit became that
Mm.
currency. So if everybody's walking around with any kind of piece of metal that's changed into gold, they're gonna think it's fucking it's
Nothing.
worth whatever it's worth.
Worthless.
Like,
It's
oh,
the
nigga,
same reason
yeah,
why
it's just not.
the Bures with the diamonds and all those. There's like I think there's like 4 or 6 families basically that are in control of all diamond distribution in the whole world, and they got huge. So diamonds aren't
What?
that rare. They've got huge vaults with just packed full of diamonds, and they'll release them very like scarcely to it. Literally it went along with the whole the marketing campaign. I believe it was in the 40s, and the diamonds are forever, right? They pushed that whole narrative that if you love a woman and you marry a woman, you give her a diamond, and diamond lasts forever. You know what I'm saying? It's this
So the whole
precious.
entire marriage ploy is built around that as well.
That's it.
Okay,
The
this
whole
makes
thing.
sense.
And really it's like, dude, they've got stash
Always
vaults
something
of
around it.
diamonds just forever for that. Like, and then they got these 10-year-old like African kids and shit out here like digging in these fucking mines, like, you know,
Right, dude. The average
it
marriage
is.
is over in the first 3 months too. Like, what the fuck, bro? Like, what are we doing
Yeah,
here?
like what are you doing? Diamonds are forever. Then why the fuck are you giving them to American women?
Because you can buy
What do y'all
moissanite now
The
too.
100K thing just
Yeah.
stopped.
And
What do
then
y'all
it's like
think
this
the
whole
effects of
status
the
thing.
whole CERN shit is on the whole planet anyway? How do y'all feel about the whole CERN shit and the effects of
Oh man, come
on
on,
that
man.
shit?
I know one
Creating
thing. I
dark
saw
matter,
that
gang?
damn movie with Sinbad. I watched it.
Like them doing it at all, like them just when they do that shit, what effects do you think that it have out
That
here?
Mandela effect is legit for real, bro. But like,
Oh
I
yeah,
think
that's
it like
definitely
goes into
I
it.
mean,
definitely
it goes
It
back
real.
to
goes
what I
into
said
the
earlier, right? I think it changes the way that the
multiple.
observer effect works, right? So think about like
Yeah.
overlay dimensions, right? If you have 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 dimensions, right? And they're stacked like this, and you start spinning something, what happens with centrifugal force? You know what I'm saying? So when you think about a dimensional aspect, if you got something that is at a corner, whatever that centrifugal force comes into contact with, you know what I'm saying? It'll speed it up or slow it down if they're rotating in the same dimension or if they're not rotating in the same dimension, if they're going clockwise or counterclockwise. And I believe it changes like you know how when they say when we were kids everything used to look brighter. You know what I'm saying? The hues, the colors, the smells and everything like that. I think that it goes directly into us being humans. You know what I'm saying? Where we perceive color, we perceive light. Emotions are considered to be light. And I learned more about this. The reason why I give myself a little bit more like you feel me volatility behind that theory is because of Pharrell Williams, his condition, right? How he musically hears things in color. You know what I'm saying? So
Well,
being able to
there's
perceive.
actually a device now for people who are colorblind, and that's exactly how they are able to to make them perceive color is through sound. I actually, yeah, I studied a whole thing on that, and there was actually this woman. She was a DJ, and she'd had this injury, and when she had woke up in the hospital, her mother was talking to her, and it just sounded like static over you know what I'm saying? And nobody, she could not understand language. She did not understand any of it. Just sounded like static over the thing. And there was this one show that she had watched forever, and the theme song, her brain was able to like, you know what I'm saying, put together, and it rerouted and remapped the neural pathways. And now she's back DJing. And so is that, but did nothing, so she could not understand any of the other like audio input besides the melody of that one theme song. And that was enough for her brain to pick up and then remap the pathways that all those sounds and memory used to use to communicate. It's pretty cool.
What
And that
was
goes right
your
into what you were
point,
saying. Like
Josh? Where were you getting to with that?
yeah, go ahead, Josh. Yeah, because that is interesting.
Because Naeem asked about CERN, right? And I think that as you're spinning and you're trying to create a particle that eliminates itself when it comes into contact with the rest of our, you know what I'm saying, our makeup, I don't think that it's something that we'll see. Like they'll be like, oh, we had antimatter for half a second. Oh well. But as that's happening, it's pulling in forces from all of those different dimensions. You know what I'm saying? It's pulling in influences, it's pulling in energies because it can't be created nor destroyed. You feel me? It's only being transferred. So the matter of fact is we're transferring that energy from one place to another. I believe when you create dark matter, it's similar to what they say, like how we could possibly use wormholes or black holes to stretch time space, fold it in over itself, and you know what I'm saying?
Right,
I
right.
believe it's that on a similar level, kind of like Iron Man's arc reactor in his chest when he had the big one in Iron Man 1. Shout out to Terrence Howard being in that movie.
Yeah, right.
Mhm.
You're saying like basically like a siphoning, if you will. Like obviously you said transfer, so we transferred the old great energy, the very vibrant, shifted it through a portal somehow with the CERN, and now we're just siphoning in the lower dimensional, lower vibrational sense, which is why our perceptions are off based on all these colors and everything that's in this realm.
Yeah,
And
that's
it's
also
being
why we can't see
transferred
the
back
UV.
to us in this fucked up state.
We can't see the UV spectrum, but it exists, right? So I mean,
Right.
in that sense, if it overlaps in order for us to be able to see, and we're fucking with the UV spectrum, and things start to get darker in our perception, things start to taste different. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Right.
And it does seem that way.
It's blowing my mind.
Whoa.
Yeah,
Okay, you know what? And here's how we tie it all back into the wealth talk, right? AI, let's talk about that. So BlackRock uses an advanced AI called Aladdin, right? And guess what it does? Runs scenarios.
Does it fly on a
It's
magic
literally
carpet?
like it is the
Research
most effective, most capable, fastest like AI, and they use it to predict the future.
No, they've been doing stuff, man. They're just biting off of
See?
what was it? The Window Maker project with damn, what somebody look at this, man. Somebody come look at this. No, look it up though, man, because that's a military
I know.
project.
I think you know what you're talking about. I know
know
what you're
exactly
talking
what you're
about
talking
too.
about too.
Into the future and the past and all that. Yeah, man.
Oh
It was
shit!
some
Yeah,
shit with the
yeah.
algorithms, right? I think I tried to explain that shit. I couldn't
Yes,
figure
I
it
know
out.
exactly what you're talking about too. I know exactly.
Yeah,
what you're
man.
talking
Pull up
about.
that project name, bro.
Yeah.
Government project. Able to look into the future of the
I'm gonna try to
past.
see if
They're
it'll do it.
gonna tell it to you.
I think so.
Because wasn't there some other ancient technology, some shit that they came across that like
Exactly.
ran like
Yeah.
algorithms or some shit like that, and they was like they told a pope or some shit that he was gonna die. He said he didn't care, and he went and he got
Yeah.
killed for some shit. Yeah, see, I was trying to explain that
It's
shit to them before. I was
yeah.
like, I can't remember what the fuck the name of it was, but it was like some ancient technology.
Man, I'm
that they had.
Looking Glass, Project Looking Glass. That's it, bro. Like basically the movie Tomorrowland
Yes,
shows
that
you
is
this
it.
whole entire
Looking Glass,
projection
Project Looking Glass.
Yeah.
Yeah, they show
Yes,
you this
dude.
other realm that
Oh
was like
man, I'm
these
glad you brought that up
these
because I
elite
haven't thought about that
scientists
in a
that
while.
yeah. So like there was this other realm that's like cross meshed with ours, but if you understand like the higher and the lower, and essentially what Josh was saying with like that shifting shit out of the dimension, right? The whole entire ploy about that was like there was this WED that was basically pinging a fucking radio signal into this realm to be able to have our consciousness then believe and will receive and believe and live out the destruction and end of the world type shit. You know what I mean? And the only reason why it changed, quote unquote, in this film, in this whole entire cinema, was the fact that this younger girl, all right, was at the point in time of adulthood, but also struggling with other things going on within her family. So you could look at different basically psychiatric changes, you know what I mean? And she was very optimistic, which changed the whole entire degree of like this fucking thing right here. It was just, yeah, Project Looking Glass. But my only point was they've already been utilizing that. You know what I mean? So you're
Holy
telling me
shit.
Aladdin, this
Did
AI,
you bring
is
it
now
up?
basically pinging off
I'm
of
trying
that
to.
capability.
They
Yes.
probably tied that with
Yes.
AI.
Yes.
But think about
And
it though,
then
right?
Google
So
admitted.
I
Google
did.
What if
admitted
it
that
were
their new
like, what
fucking
if this
processing
was
chip
originally AI?
pulls energy from the other dimensions. They said that
But
in
see,
they said that the new
I,
chip that
this
Google just they
this gives it
themselves
more
said that it
volatility too,
pulls
right?
energy from other dimensions to work.
They said
Right,
the Project Looking Glass was the anchor in which was known as WWA-BNCP, which is the Worldwide Airborne Command Post. They completed the last
Worldwide
flight.
Airborne Command Post.
So
They
this is a
completed their
theoric
last flight.
energy. This is theoric energy grid. This essentially is what the fuck they're telling us in raw time.
And the chemtrails is just the shit that they Yeah.
So it's just so all right. So the AI is just an extension out of that. I'm correct then, because if the AI is if
Yeah.
their AI system is doing that, then it had to be a piece or a branch off of that etheric energy system and grid anyway. You know what I mean? So now we can look at the rest of the structure dealing with the internet base and what the fuck is that goddamn group, bro? There's a telecom group somewhere in the Midwest, but again, like I think I told you this already, Chris, but they were like back in 2012, they were showing us commercials up there with like streams of fucking energy shooting out of light bulbs, going into light switches, going into your phone, going into your car, going in other buildings, and all of the wiring of the buildings. And they were like, yeah, we're going to have a worldwide available network up here. You don't even need internet. We're going to supply it for you. I was like, bro, what the fuck is this shit? But now all this is making sense. Okay. Okay.
It is.
But what about this AI system?
Yeah, so they use this to predict the future basically, and they say that it's for well, we're just mapping out possible economic changes and scenarios and all this. But what if literally they're creating the reality? Right? They're running this
Yeah, yeah,
AI
yeah,
that's
exactly.
fucking generating this thing, and then all it has to do is it send that data to these other AIs that are constantly being communicated with every day, filling fucking your head full of ideas. And you just Google is just giving you all your answers, right? You don't even know what a fucking answer is anymore because you just copy and paste it. You don't know how to fucking think or research or figure nothing out. You know what you do when somebody asks you a question you don't know? You fucking say, "Hey Google."
Huh. Damn, that makes me think about like, okay, like the Bilderberg groups, right? Like the private secret
Why do
meetings
they
and
get
things of
together
the
and meet?
sort. Like they, if
Right.
you're a group of powerful people that historically understand the context of what's going on intuitively, because that was what you were raised under, right? Like if you were always royal and you're invited to these meetings, AI data, being able to intuitively put that together, I feel like the thing with AI is, right, they want everybody to use it so they don't have to. So all they got to do,
Oh,
meet up, look at the AI, and deploy. That's it. That's it. What else would they have to know? They know everything with Looking Glass, right?
Right.
It's if
right.
Right.
Looking Glass is
Or they could
described
just
as the
have,
phenomenon of how other
or
people
like the
perceive.
Vanderbilt's fucking AI communicates with the Rockefeller's
Going
AI,
that
and then
shit.
they get
Now they just
together and
using
talk
AI
to the
to see how
Rothschild's
people thinking
AI,
now.
and here we go.
This is crazy. There's always
That's how sick
multifacets to
men
one
do it.
thing all at once, you know. But yeah,
Yeah,
Naeem,
because think about that.
absolutely.
That's
See
what
how
it
you
is.
think, see how
The
you
Aladdin
move,
AI
give
is
your facial
designed to do.
expression.
It's designed to literally do just like you do when you're sitting here and you're in that fucking like state of brainstorming or like daydreaming and anything. Or you know what it is? It's that kid. It's that young child whose imagination is full of everything, and there's as many possibilities as you could possibly think of. That is the Aladdin AI.
Even the Bible
Brilliant.
says, "Keep childlike glee." Hmm.
Mhm.
To
Okay.
me, that
Let's
just struck me.
let's
Like
drop
when I
another
when I when I
scary
heard
bomb
that,
on this end,
I was
right?
like, "This is BlackRock's AI, guys." Right. So this is literally, if you think of the person that would have the most capability, the most funding, and access to the best shit, what would they
Right,
build? What would they build? Whatever in the fuck they wanted,
What's an
right.
insurance policy for the ultimate power, the ultimate
including
control?
your reality.
An insurance policy for the most ultimate power is the original creation itself. That's why it's inside of you, right?
Mm.
So to
Exactly.
alleviate that in any way possible to with a synthetic variant, right? We can go back to the Cabbage Patch Kids situation and the fucking incubators, little literal test tube babies. You know what I mean? The
Mhm.
replacement there, and even what they did with vid and everything like that, like we just this whole entire pandemic shit. They're literally working on sterilization so nobody could fucking reproduce. It's like this strong ploy to take the whole entire nature aspect out of the whole entire fucking syndicate to be
It
like, oh yeah,
is.
well just
It is.
here's our synthetic
And
shit. You know what I mean? Like fuck you, dude.
guess who owns the White House now? Guess who owns the White House now?
Oh yeah, we looked that up earlier today too.
What? Who?
Technically, the
Who
American.
own
Well,
the
they
White
say
House
the
now?
American people own the White House now.
Yeah, they should because
But
it was the American people who originally
here's
built
the
it.
thing
Yeah.
that is funny.
Right.
But it is stewarded by the National Park Service.
Look,
The
all right, so
same,
Josh,
the same
National Park
entity that is
Service.
seizing up all the nature and
Who's
deeming it
the
a
National
national
Park
park
Service?
where you can't go.
Josh is pinging in your head now, ain't it? The states, motherfucker, real people, bro. Where is it? Who is the only people you can get real things from? Real people. That's
And
right.
that's what I said. Who bought
So
that
now
motherfucker?
I want
When
you
it
guys
came
in
up
your
for
own
sale in
spare time to
2018, who bought it?
do some research on the National Park Service, all right, and where that became implemented at. They're going to tell you some bullshit, and it's going to take you to decipher from there and go back just a little bit further, because the natives and the aboriginals, the Yatatas primordial beings, were the ones who sectioned out certain portions of nature as to reallocate it to those who had wanted, or the originals who lived without the whole entire matrix system as we know it, dealing with these battery housing and healing centers because nature was our healer. We didn't need the extension of a building and the rest of etheric energy to be able to accomplish that. We already were. You see what I'm saying? So those were our lively centers, man. You know what I mean? That's very interesting you say that. So the National Park Service. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Right on. So they tell you it's a park. Would this also help explain why nobody got in trouble for storming the White House? The fuck, I'm gonna get in trouble for storming a public building, bitch.
So I said, wait a minute,
Exactly.
you let a million fucking people just barge in the White House and just start fucking shit up, like, and
they couldn't
what?
stop
What do
it.
you mean?
As much of a ploy as that
That's
shit
crazy.
was, but yeah, very interesting.
Yeah, there was a whole
Very
lot behind
interesting.
that, but
Yeah,
and
man. Yeah, man.
because
That's
I was just
hilarious.
thinking, I was like, wait a minute, I was like, this shit came up for like, who
And you
bought
know,
it?
that's another thing.
And
To
so we
touch
went
on that a
looking
little
it up,
bit
like, who
further,
did buy that motherfucker?
I want to touch on the
And
sterilization
I
thing
bet
a
if
little
we
bit
trace
more,
it
right?
back enough, we could figure out who bought it. And probably
Yeah.
not, because they got that shit run through so many trusts and fucking LLCs, you'll never find it.
Yeah, but hidden in plain sight. That's the best way to hide things, though. But think about this too, right? When it comes to all of the things that we were saying, I want to bring it and tie it back to sterilization, right? Because I realized something researching Nestle. When Nestle, right? Keep in mind they're a food conglomerate, so they own a whole lot of different things. When they first started launching products in Africa, they started launching products for breast milk, right? So what it was supposed to do was to you feel me, be a replacement, you know what I'm saying, for some of the things that was going on. The Africans was like, hey, we're breastfeeding our kids already, we don't need it. So you know what Nestle did? They changed the diet of the mothers so that they wouldn't produce as much milk, so that they had to rely on the milk. And then what do? What naturally happens with a woman's body when she stops breastfeeding herself? It stops producing milk. So what do you have to do? You have to buy the Nestle products. You have to get poisoned. And that's the only way you can even have a guarantee, right, that your child will be of age or be able to make it to an age. But all of the nutrients that were in there, all of the metals and ionizing chemicals that are added to the blood, from the microplastics to the actual water processing treatments and shit like that. And it's through Nestle. So I think about it like when they say you are what you eat. You know what I'm saying? I look at the food industry really closely, but I really look at the people that do confections. You know what I'm saying? Sweets. You're really giving me pure poison, sugar. You know what I'm saying? So if you're okay with giving me pure sugar,
Yeah, your body will naturally convert carbohydrates to glucose for the energy. It doesn't need sugar for energy. People think that, well, use glucose, use the sugar. No,
and you think
bro,
those big
it
companies
takes
don't
the
know that?
carbohydrates from
That's their whole
grain
They
entire
know.
fucking aim, bro. Like
and
you just
converts.
pinpointed. Nestle literally went back to the strict knowledge of diet. So if we can fuck up their original diet and all the shit that they're intake, well, then we can influence the future. It was like Chris just shared something else about the coffee shit over there in Mumbwe or something like that. Like, or no, it was some Japanese play. Like, none of those motherfuckers ever drank coffee. It was only tea. And so they literally
And that was
revamped a whole entire goddamn campaign and most of their diet just so they can start incorporating fucking coffee to their kids. It's
the same
crazy
way they
work,
did with
man.
dairy here in the States. Like there was
Right.
no dairy industry until World War II. And they was shipping the dairy over to the soldiers, and then it became such a huge fucking industry that they then had to fucking create this marketing campaign. And now you got to have milk with all your cereal, and a good glass of milk with some cookies, and got to have milk with your eggs and pancakes. And so it's a cake. Oh my God, come on, you can't eat cake without milk. And so now everybody drinks milk.
It's almost in every like fucking recipe too, man, involving bread and everything else. That's fucking crazy. Yeah. Interesting.
It's crazy, man. And then it's like people don't even really understand that think, okay, like pizza, for instance, right? Everybody, it's Italian, right? Everybody agrees on that. It's Italian, right? But where did the tomatoes come from that make the sauce? The Americas.
I mean, oh yeah, all right. There's a
But
lot
you
of
know what I'm saying?
shit
So
that
it's
comes from America.
yeah, so it's like people don't even know, like they think that French fries and shit, you know, it's like what like we're like the only ones that really eat that shit. It's like,
Oh, you know what makes
but
me think
it
of this?
was original.
Russet
The
potatoes, dude.
discrepancy. What's the thing that they did in I think it was actually World War I. It might have been World War II too. If it is, that'd be a coincidence. But Greenland and Iceland, right? Why is it that those names are switched? The actual no, it wasn't World War nothing. It was back when the whatchamacallit, the Vikings came over. They called Greenland because it was full of ice, and they called Iceland, you know what I'm saying, Greenland. It was to throw the people off coming through the trade routes, and it stuck. You know what I'm saying?
Interesting.
Yep.
Yeah, man.
Yep.
But it was
I do remember that. Yeah.
the original
Because I
rush.
thought
The
that too.
rush.
I was like, wait, why is Greenland covered in ice? You know, and then you find Iceland, and you're like, yeah, that was right. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, and it
So this
influenced.
science been running the whole time. And if you really take that back to like the Gnostics, right? As above, so below. You know, it's like the whole concept. Really, like it really is that, man. It's like your higher consciousness is the above. It's the infinite awareness. It's the universe. It's you. It's God, right? And then you have these lower fucking vibrations, this lower state, which is the fucking simulation.
What's in the name? Tell me what is in the name. What's in the name? Tell me what is in the name.
You got to drop that, man. You got to drop that.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Oh shit! I didn't even look at the
It's
time.
interesting.
Hey y'all, I got to get up out of here. I appreciate it, man. This was a great
Yes,
talk.
man. Honestly, I do too. Actually, I've got a lot to do. Got a whole bunch of new studio equipment and everything to roll out. Like it's cool. And Josh showed it to
I'm at
Josh, and he
y'all,
was
man.
like, "Bro,
Peace,
how much do you pay for
peace.
that?" And I was like,
Peace.
"Nothing." He was like, "What?"
Yeah, how much that cost, bro?
All right. Appreciate you coming out, man. Thank you.
Unreal.
So that's what do you think? That's about it, right?
In
You
terms
want to plug
of
some stuff we got going on? You wanna maybe just talk about some of the projects first or
okay, yeah, I'll drop some sauce, you know what I'm saying? So you see my name right here, New Founded Peace, or whatever the case may be. I'll be dropping some sneak peeks, some previews of some of the designs that's dropping. I'm connecting these designs directly to a different initiative. So while you might see a clothing line or you might see the initiative, both of them will be able to help each other out. That'll also bleed us directly into the music as well as some of the investing. I have currently a legacy bundle, you know what I'm saying? So I'll show you exactly how to not only utilize cryptocurrency, but to protect yourself by using it, not when using it, by using it. You see what I'm saying? And we got Web 2 to Web 3 as a focal point for a lot of larger organizations and corporations. So we're looking to set up a lot of different meetings from, you feel me, venture capital to venture debt. You know what I'm saying? We'll be reaching out and talking to you guys a lot more about some of the nitty gritty behind the scenes. But for right now, I just want to say for anybody who's watching this for now or in the future, you feel me, you are so greatly appreciated because all of this content fuels all of the projects.
it does. We really appreciate everybody that tunes in, and it means a lot because we're really just trying to spread the movement, you know. And I just want to say this, right? If we understand the larger etheric network that's going on, we definitely understand this man-made one, right? So if there's any doubt, yeah, we get it, bro. We know the internet, we know the transactions, we know the currency shifts, we know the economic systems, we know it all.
And given
For
that
entertainment and educational purposes only, of course.
for entertainment and educational purposes only. There we go. Check. We checked all of the boxes. Hey, I'm pretty
I
sure they
think
won't
we're
take the
clear,
Zoom
right?
account.
Now, let's consult HR and we'll figure everything out. But I think we're good on this one. Y'all have a good night, good day, good